the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans. Coming at you live from the Ron Miller Race Cars Hammer Down Racing Report studio. It's the Hammer Down Racing Report presented by Oakshade Raceway. And that is not Ron Miller sitting over there. That is Mr. John Naida. And we'll be talking to him, legendary sprint car driver, racer, businessman, founder of S.O.D. So we'll be talking to him tonight. He's our guest. And Ron's actually on the road on the way back from picking up a bunch of tires. So if you're in need of some tires, Ron Miller Race Cars, he's the guy. He's got a U-Haul full coming back. And so we'll get him on the phone here momentarily. In the meantime, I want to mention Oakshade Raceway. We're the fastest meet to race. Going to kick off their season, hopefully, this Saturday night. I know it's we've been struggling with the weather and everything. I stopped out there, I think it was Saturday afternoon, this past Saturday. There were infield full of water, but that was before we've had these 80, 90-degree days. So
it's tough on promoters, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. They were out there working on things. So hopefully we'll be set for this weekend. They're going to kick things off with the Oakshade Attica Late Model Challenge Series, as well as Sportsman, Dominator Superstocks, and Compacts. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. And if you're a racer, make sure you stop by the Oakshade Raceway website, oakshaderaceway.com, and fill out the forms under driver info. There's 2 forms. One you can print out and turn in with your registration, $15. And the other one is the media form. That's for me. So if you have sponsors that you want promoted up in the tower, for me and whoever's helping me on a particular night, we'll have that information as well. If you don't want your sponsors mentioned, don't go to the website. Don't fill that out. It's a simple online form. You don't have to do anything there. Just click submit. Freeze frame photos. Good time to call Charlie for all your racing photo needs, from action shots to victory lane. They have all your favorite drivers. I bet you they probably have some shots of you.
Definitely, no doubt.
Because he's got some old. I'm not saying you're old or anything, but he's got some classic photos. We'll put it that way. He does special photo shoots by appointment, and they have all these cool trinkets, items that you can put these photos on too. Sure. Check him out on Facebook at Freeze Frame Photos Online, or give Charlie a call, 419-476-9978. And, of course, Big D's Pizza, Subs, Ribs, Chicken, and more in Clyde. Call them right now, 419-547-1444, or you can order online at orderbigdspizza.com. Check out that new pizza burger, topped with pizza sauce, pizza cheese, and pepperoni on a toasted bun. Have you had Big D's?
Tasty. No, I haven't, but it's a little bit far away for us to order right
I know,
now.
And for some reason he won't deliver to us. But, yeah, check out Big D. We'll be giving away some Big D's Pizza a little bit later for tonight's How Many. Also got to thank Ron Miller Race Cars and Dominator Race Products, additional sponsors with us here on the show tonight. Before we get too far into things, let's bring in our co-host, Mr. Ron Miller, who's, like I said, on the road. So hopefully we won't make him cause an accident. Or he won't go through, and I think he was down near Chillicothe. So he may end up in an area where they don't have a signal.
Well, that's
Ron Miller.
possible.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Hey, pretty good, Scott.
Hi, Ron.
Imagine hearing from you guys.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were in a dead spot down there in southern Ohio.
No, not yet.
Before we get too far along, you want to talk about what you're doing and why you're not in the studio tonight?
Yeah. Mercy Mission. I went to, actually I drove through the mecca of motorsports today. Went to Towel City Tire down in North Carolina to pick up some tires for both Oakshade and Sandusky. They'll be back at Ron Miller Race Cars tonight. But no, I went through...
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know if you could hear it, but my GPS was in my ear.
Oh, no, couldn't hear that.
Okay. Well, I'll try to ignore her when she talks to me.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to find your way back.
Oh, yeah, from here I can.
Okay.
I should shut her up, but no, I went through Mooresville, North Carolina.
Indeed.
Scott, what an amazing place. But I saw a culture clash. I saw a lot of Corvettes but I saw a lot of Teslas, and that worries me in the mecca of motorsports when we're seeing a bunch of Teslas.
Hey, my brother's been trying to push for an electric car series out at Oakshade.
Really?
Yeah, he's got 2 electric cars.
Like 12-volt with a starter motor or something?
No, he's got an fully electric Ford Focus and a Model 3 Tesla.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if he wants to race him, I'll drive the Tesla for him.
Well, his Escort, I think he only gets, he doesn't get very good. He can only go so far on it. It's things like on a leash, but anyway.
I see.
We digress. We're going to talk to John here momentarily. I want to go through our racing roundup from action of last weekend, and starting off with a lot of rainouts. Pretty much,
yeah,
definitely.
Most of the places in our area were rained out. Even though Saturday was beautiful, it turned out to be nice, but because of the rain we got early in the week and then later in the week.
All the tracks took way too much.
Yeah, so Attica rained out, Limaland rained out last Friday. Saturday was Oakshade, Fremont, Sandusky all rained out. Sandusky's got a kind of a cool deal they're doing this weekend. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Montpelier Motor Speedway rained out over there in Indiana. A couple places did get some action in. Flat Rock got their program in. Eric Lee was the winner of the late model feature there. Greg Stude picked up the street stock feature win. Robert Stewart picked up his first feature win in the street stock B main. And Bryce Thompson was the winner of the figure 8 class.
Landon Schuster was really quick in qualifying and then had some sort of brake issue in the street stock. But I think Flat Rock is going to be one of the bright spots in racing this summer.
Matt Swander made his way up to Butler Motor Speedway. So we don't usually cover Butler, kind of like on the fringe of our area, but new promoter this year, new owner this year, and they toughed it out, got the show in there. I guess they had a pretty good field of sprint cars.
Yeah, from what I was told, the grandstand was spectacular. Best crowd in 10 years. And everybody was very pleased. So at this point in time, it looks like it may be a bright spot. And, the decision to run, it was a difficult one, I'm sure. And it certainly had to influence the racetrack itself, the surface, I should say. But
well, I understand they've made some big improvements in the grandstands themselves. So. Yes. The fact that they had a packed grandstand was good.
Yes. They spent a lot of money, 5 figures, on trying to, update the grandstand. So sounds like everything's going in the right direction.
And Darren was running there, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, yeah.
So I guess he did pretty well. I know a lot of the Fremont regulars made their way over there. Ricky Peterson ended up winning the sprint car feature. Todd Sherman was the winner of the modifieds. Bronson Means, winner in the street stocks. And Nick Gemina won the front wheel drive. I was actually looking at their street stocks. I was wondering if my super stock would fall under their rules up there. I know in the past it hasn't, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. It's kind of difficult, the different names of different classes as to what is compatible.
In some National Series action, the World of Outlaw Case Construction Late Model Series was in action at Mississippi Thunder Speedway 3 nights in a row. Bobby Pierce won Thursday night. Jonathan Davenport won on Friday night. Mike Marlar was the winner on Saturday up there in Wisconsin. Then the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Sprint Car Series was in action last night. As a matter of fact, at Lincoln Speedway, Gettysburg Clash, Jacob Allen picking up the win out there. Don't normally talk about Formula One either, but they were in the States running down in Miami. The inaugural Miami Grand Prix was Sunday, and that was won by Max Verstappen. And I saw an article, and I didn't read it all because I just kind of shook my head. So now I wish I would remember which driver it was. Some driver was upset, Formula One driver was upset that they weren't going to allow jewelry to be worn during a race, and he was
Yeah,
going
I saw that.
Okay, you saw it wasn't just me, and he was going to boycott.
No, it wasn't a nightmare, Scott. It really happened.
I was like, just shook my head and was like, I can't even read that.
Life is tough.
I can't remember the driver's name, but yeah, you're correct.
Oh boy!
But he said if that was the case, he's Hamilton. John Young says it was.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was Hamilton.
He's not going to race
Wow.
if he can't wear his jewelry.
Man.
That nobody can see because you got a fire suit and helmet and everything on.
Jeez.
Who cares?
Wow.
Unless maybe I don't know the Formula Ones. Do they have to meet a certain weight requirement?
Yes, it's a fascinating class because technology is absolutely the master. Obviously, with the money they spend, but you look at the things they've done with the cars. I don't know if you've seen this so-called halo they have over the cockpit now.
I have.
Very interesting, and I could just imagine some of the racers sitting there saying, "Oh, I can't see with that thing in front of me," because the front part is right in front of the driver. Then it splits. But also, I saw where they were changing wheel sizes for this year, going to much larger. Yeah.
Didn't the Indy cars put that post in front of the driver too?
I don't know. Maybe they did. I haven't paid
so.
much attention.
Yeah, well, it was.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Okay.
And that halo saved.
Yes.
Who was it? That one guy that went through the wall at that one race. How long ago was that? It seems like a year ago.
I think it was only last year.
Okay,
So.
One of the first races, and that car split in half, and he climbed out of the fire. I was like, holy crap, I thought that guy was dead.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt, Yeah, I wonder if, of course it's all speculation, but would something like that have saved Ayrton Senna when he, died? Because, he didn't have a broken bone in his body. It's just from that suspension part coming up and hitting his helmet, Well,
I think...
you never know.
Yeah. One of the reasons they did that, because it happened too much. But NASCAR action, Joey Logano picked up a controversial win in the Goodyear 400 at Darlington Raceway. Apparently not making friends again, bumping... who was it that he bumped? That was William Byron out of the way. And he claimed that Byron had pushed him up into the wall, 10 laps prior to that. And that was just... Had he not done that, Joey would have raced him differently. I don't know. I don't care about either one. But Joey picked up the win. And Jeff Gordon was all pissed off too. And I don't. Well, never been a Jeff Gordon fan either.
That's it. Well, but that was his race car. He owns it, sort of.
Yeah. Oh well.
I don't know. It seemed like there were a lot of bruised feelings last weekend. So. Maybe NASCAR's doing something right.
Yeah, I guess it generates interest.
Yep.
Who's going to fight who this weekend?
That's right.
Saturday, Justin Allgaier was the winner in the Xfinity race, the Mahindra Roxor 200 at Darlington. And in the trucks, Friday night, John Hunter Nemechek picked up the win in the Dead On Tools 200. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later because he had something thrown at him when he was doing his interview there on the front stretch. But... a couple other notes. Spoon River. What did I do there? I don't even know. I can't even follow my own notes. Last night was Flow Racing Night in America at Spoon River over there in Illinois. Brandon Shepard picked up the win there. And at the dirt track at Charlotte, the XR Super Series late models, Chris Madden, winning down there.
I heard good things about Spoon River. I've never seen it.
It was the first time I actually watched some of that race last night. I think it was the first time I watched. I was like, it's a pretty nice little track.
I see. Good.
Yeah. And I guess it was really hot, too. And the track looked, for it to be 90-plus degrees and sunny and windy, it wasn't a terrible dust storm from what I saw.
Good.
So, make sure to check out Dominator Race Products, their new aluminum body washers. They don't clean things, but they hold things together. DominatorRaceProducts.com. Dominator Race Products has body components and much more for dirt late models, modified sprint cars, street stocks, and more. DominatorRaceProducts.com or call them at 419-923-6970. 6970. Also available at reputable dealers across the USA, such as Ron Miller Race Cars. I'm going to head out there, I think, tomorrow. I got to pick up some things from Dominator. Yeah. And also, don't forget to call that guy on the phone there, Ron Miller Race Cars. Don't call him right now, though, 734-856-7223. He's got race cars, parts, safety equipment service, and tires now. Pretty much everything a racer needs. Oh, by the way, those headers that I got, they worked. Thank you. He's got headers too. Yay, they fit.
Success.
Yeah. Only took a while, but
Street stock headers are sometimes a challenge. So, yeah, I'm glad we did okay.
yeah, I started up. They sounded mean. I was happy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's got to be an extra 100 horsepower.
From the rusty old things with holes in it?
Yeah, those are the ones.
Okay. I'll hold you to that. So, John Naida joining us, our first in-studio guest at our newest studio of our 3+ studios we've had. Founder of the Sprint Cars on Dirt, member of the Michigan Motorsports Hall of Fame, 1978 Fremont Speedway track champion, the S.O.D champion a couple times, 91 Butler champion. Mm-hmm. Am I missing anything there?
Championship wise, no, that's about it. I won the American Winged Outlaw Dirt Nationals down in Waycross, Georgia, but that was just a major event. It wasn't a series, so that
John, we kind of go back. We kind of go back a ways
yes.
with the Autocraft engines and
Yes, we sure do.
A lot of things in common.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hey, before I get going here and forget, I wanted to mention one of my old time crewmen. And this is back from the Fremont days. Greg Lowe, a fire chief down in that area for many, many years. But today's his birthday, so we just want to say happy birthday, Greg, and. We're hoping that he doesn't celebrate too much so we can see him at Fremont Speedway Saturday night.
Before we came out of the air here, we were talking a little bit. You said you had the most success actually at Oakshade.
Yes. Oakshade was one of my favorite tracks, probably my favorite track. Second was probably the old oiled Butler. Great surface to run on, and that's what gave me the edge when I did win down at Waycross, Georgia, because it was an oil dirt track and people were clueless what to do with it. And I had a great chief mechanic with me down there, a guy by the name of Deuce Terrell, who is really a legend in the sport, and everything worked out well. But we.
If you liked oil dirt, what were your thoughts on Brian?
Well, Brian wasn't quite as oiled as Butler, or even as much as Waycross. Actually, I don't think Butler was oiled as much as Waycross either. But the oil dirt made it somewhat of a challenge to wash a car. You measured it in gallons of kerosene or gasoline or some other product that is environmentally unacceptable.
Mineral spirits.
Yeah. Whatever you could afford. But my involvement, Kathy and I, my wife Kathy and I, have been involved with racing. I've been in racing all my life. My involvement in racing started in the first half of the last century. Because I went to my first race before I was even born. And the first generation, my father, Wild Bill Naida, was extremely successful. And people don't know that his sister Virginia also raced.
Was that sprint cars?
No, he raced, well, at that time, hardtops, modifieds, they had a variety of names, coupes, you name it. But
the old-timey cars.
Yes.
Okay.
But they were very popular. I mean, on a weekly program, Motor City Speedway in Detroit raced 3 nights a week, none of which was on the weekend. And they were televised live on WXYZ TV.
Channel 7?
Wednesday nights.
Yes, Fred Wolf. Yep. And so...
You don't remember, Scott.
Nope, I don't.
And... in spite of being televised live, they packed the place. And in the class, the primary class, the modifieds, sportsmen's, hardtops, whatever, I think they call them primarily hardtops. They typically get 70 cars. just on a regular race night, and everybody ran the races starting according to their qualifying. If you were a fast qualifier, you started at the back of every race you ran. And it's a little different than today's racing. And it says a lot about what technology has done. I guess I can use the word it has ruined racing to a point. But nevertheless, started out with my dad. And like I said, I went before I was born. Then I raced. And then my son, Dane, he raced. And our daughter's husband, Adriana's husband, Steve Irwin, known as Flying Zero, he's still racing, very, very successful, really kind of a master of the non-wing cars. And he's been very helpful in Darren getting used to non-wing micros when he ran them. And then the Gen 4, we had two drivers, Darren and his younger brother, Dylan. And Kathy and I were just talking. We wonder how long it is before 11-year-old Dylan comes out of retirement to race micros again.
Oh boy!
And we spoke to Darren. What was that? A couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very very good kid out there, and he's going to find victory lane soon. I think.
He has his head on straight. He's a honor student and very humble. And it's interesting when they asked him about. I think you asked him about the people in his school knowing about his racing. He says just a couple of his close friends. So, he's not out there, beating his chest. But out of all of us racers, out of the entire family, I guess we would have to say my aunt was the most successful because she retired without ever losing a race, even though she only raced two. But so two races.
A perfect record.
Yes, perfect record. But
2 for 2.
Yeah. But my dad had an astounding record also, and
I didn't realize you were a second generation driver until Ron. You missed this since you're not in the studio. He actually did a lot of my work for me. He provided us with prep, with all this paperwork.
Really?
Yeah, 3 pages worth.
Oh my!
I wish all of our guests did that. It'd make my life a heck of a lot easier.
Ron, I'm practicing for my run at the presidency.
Yeah, here we go.
So what
Anybody but the one we've got.
How involved are you in Darren's racing?
Only as a supporter and a spectator. That's it.
Is his dad more involved then?
Oh, his dad owns the cars.
Okay.
He does all the work on them. He's chief mechanic. Darren's uncle Steve Irwin. Is very, very supportive also, in helping them out with the cars. So, they're the two people that, do most of the work on the cars. There are several other people supporting them, some really good people behind them too. And,
So what were you doing at the go-kart track a couple of weeks ago up in Palmyra?
I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Unless I just don't remember, Ron.
Oh, okay.
No. I've congratulated a couple of people that have done well there because Darren has raced there in the past, and Nathan Bevard, he's a regular there. Yeah. So I support them. I really support any kind of racing you can think of. I've been involved in sprint cars. I can remember, I was trying to think how old I was, and I have to guess I wasn't any older than 6 years old when I sat in my first sprint car up in Detroit. I wish I could remember whose car it was. But, I kind of lean towards sprint cars, but actually my favorite kind of race car has been full-blown super modifieds. But
Asphalt?
Yeah. But where could you race them?
I wrecked one of those once.
Bet you wrecked those pretty good.
And the thing that disappoints me about them right now is, they're not technically super modifieds because they have engine restrictions. They have height rules, they have weight rules. I'm talking about
tire rules.
Yeah, I'm talking about a completely wide open but then again, intolerably expensive type of racing. My second favorite type of racing is what you call the heavies, the East Coast big block modifieds. I think they're great too.
They are. Now,
yeah.
I had about 12 years experience running those.
I remember that, Ron.
Company I was working for had transferred me over to the Albany, New York area.
Okay.
And I wound up running East Coast mods for almost 12 years.
Sure.
Fonda, Lebanon Valley, Weedsport.
Oh, yeah.
So
Syracuse.
When was the last time you strapped into a race car?
Oh, geez.
Race in actual competition.
I ran Dan McCarrod's car at the Fremont when they had the, I don't recall even what they called it, associated with, the Hall of Fame. And actually, it was kind of interesting because I hadn't been in a car in a while. And surprisingly, don't get mad, Dan. But I could fit in Dan's seat, the first time I'd ever been in a full containment seat. And that was rather confining. But nevertheless, I hadn't turned a single lap till we got to the track that night. We ran decent before the 25-lap feature. Dan told me, no, if you get tired, just go ahead, drop out, But actually, I ran the full race. I really could have run more. I didn't have a problem. But I fought the car constantly. Then we found out later, Dane drove it, and he said, how could you drive the car? And I said, well, I just, I hadn't had, much experience lately, and I was doing what I could. He says, well, the steering was broke. And so it explained the feeling I got when the car wouldn't react the way I expected it to. So I wish I would have had a chance to, do it the right way, but nevertheless.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, man. I'm trying to, let me guess on that.
Approximately.
5.
Okay. So it hasn't been that long then.
No, not that long ago. Maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
When did you officially retire?
I never did.
Okay. Race car drivers never do.
Nope.
Even if they say they do.
Never did.
They don't.
I unfortunately, I quit racing when I told Kathy I would put everything up for sale, and I would ask way too much money for it, and immediately from Louisiana bought it for my asking price, and so
and that surprised you.
Well, crap!
Oh yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I have to claim insanity.
Let's talk about the sprints on dirt and how that all came together. How did that form? You put that together back in 1980. That would have been after you had already been racing for quite a few years. So how did that come together, and why did you put it together?
Okay. Well, yeah, I had raced, and I raced with the what you could call the predecessor of the All-Star Circuit of Champions, called Moss. I raced with them 2 years. In 75, I finished 4th in points.
What did Moss stand for? Michigan Outlaw Sprint Series?
Midwest Outlaw Super Series.
Oh, I like Mike.
Yeah, it actually was Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania. But I finished 4th in 75. Harold McGilton won the championship, and Fred Linder, Kramer Williamson, Bobby Allen finished 10th, Johnny Oxter 11th, Ferkel 13th, Bieber 15th.
A lot of those names are with the vintage American race car guys. Because I remember hearing these names from that. Do you ever run with those guys?
No.
They should call you up and get you. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah, it's okay. But in 76, I ran with...
Opperman ever show up at any of those?
I don't recall seeing much of him, Ron. He didn't finish in the top 15 in points either year that I ran, so not sure. But so what I did, I always lived in Michigan. I never raced in Michigan, and it bugged me because there were several dirt tracks in Michigan, and I just hadn't had the chance. And Butler was running what they called Butler Modifieds and getting huge car counts. And once a year, they would open it up at the end to allow sprint cars to come in. So I went up there my first time up there. This was a time, Ron, when we bought the tires and grooved them ourselves.
Right.
I went up there with one on-grooved, and I set the new track record. So that kind of tells you what the oiled surface was like.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But nevertheless, I got together a meeting in late 79 to see if there was any interest in maybe, putting something together so we could run some of the dirt tracks in Michigan. And the meeting was very successful. The unfortunate part about it was I didn't intend on coming out of there as the one that was going to have to do it. But that's how it ended up. So I did, and the rest is history. I owned S.O.D for 39 years. We built it up, to a very, very successful series. What was interesting in the early days, Ron, one of the very successful promoters I was working with advised me to forego the honesty that I told him I was going to base the group on. He says, tell the people what they want to hear. Well, I didn't take his advice, but there are times I wonder maybe if I should have. But nevertheless, I was able to get the support of 31 marketing partners, in my last few years of actively running sprints on dirt. And they respected the honesty, and they appreciated, the way I conducted business with them. I'm not so sure the racers did. I don't know that they really appreciated what they were able to get from me. But let me give you an example of what we did for them. In 2018, I paid out $90,867 and, point contributions. Actually, it was closer to 94,000 when I refigured it. The champion got $9,420, and 12th got $1,133. In retrospect, I think maybe I paid out too much, but nevertheless, I get a kind of a chuckle out of it when I hear places bragging about how much they're going to be paying out for their point fund. Because like I said, this was 2018, and we enjoyed a relationship with our marketing partners. In particular, just to mention a few, Molly was great for us. Hoosier Tire, we couldn't have done it without Hoosier, especially the last few years. Elaine on Automotive, King Engine Bearings, Tim Engler down at Engler Machine and Tool. They were very, very instrumental in our success, and I really appreciate them with and all the others. But it was everything I did those last 3 years I ran S.O.D. Was based on a business plan that I took 3 years setting up. And it proved to be very successful. We went to a spec tire. We allowed only one right rear and only one left rear. And we worked with Hoosier. We went out and we tested at Oakshade. We had cars with different cubic inches, and they sent out a team. I mean, they didn't send out somebody. They sent out, I think it was like a half a dozen people.
Hoosier did?
Yes. So, I mean, this was a full-blown, serious attempt, and it worked out great, and the tires actually worked out great. I don't think you'll find another series that had we called it Beyond Limits, because we didn't have any engine limits. We didn't care what size engine you wanted to run. But we had 305s win races. We had 360s win races. We had 410s win races. Some of the older 410s that, wouldn't be competitive, today's day and age 410 racing. They did just fine. So overall, we were extremely successful. And this is why I feel people are really losing an opportunity right now to look at something of that sort. Now, of course, I'm speaking about sprint car racing, and it's maybe limited, but at least with sprint car racing, if you had one right rear tire and one left rear tire, you eliminate who knows how many tires. You won't find any teams that go to the track that can afford it that have less than 5 left rears and probably 4 right rears.
with this year's
sizes
tire,
and compounds and so on. You
with
knock
this
that
year's
down to one
tire
of each,
issues,
and all of a
that's going to
sudden,
be a big thing.
the almighty stagger that everybody relied on, all of a sudden that's not important. We had teams that didn't even bother checking the stagger until they got the car ready to go on the track. Then they may make a minor adjustment here or there to accommodate the stagger instead of just the opposite. And what it does, it increases the importance of the driver ability to drive a car. You know, we had two types of racers. We had the racers that said, I can't run those tires. If I would have had a half-inch more stagger, I would have won the feature instead of finishing 10th. And then we got the other side that look at them and say, watch me.
We got a question here from one of our listeners, and for some reason I think this is leading somewhere. I don't know the answer to this, but I think this is a leading question because he usually tries to stir stuff up. But he wants to know: did you ever turn away a driver from racing with S.O.D because the driver was too young?
Matt, you know I did.
Okay, so you know Matt then.
Yep.
Okay.
And Matt, you know it was a guy by the name of Scott's favorite driver, Jeff Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
When Jeff was young, and, you know, he had come in from the West Coast, you know, he had quite a team supporting him, and they came to a villa. And the S.O.D rules at the time, he was too young. He didn't meet the requirements. So I'm guilty, Matt. I did not allow Jeff Gordon to race with us. Yes.
Do you regret that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, rules are rules, you know, and you know, I don't care if it's Darren or Jeff Gordon or who it is. You know, that's the way it has to be, Scott. You know, you may wish that you had, you know, different rules, but nevertheless, you didn't. You had to abide by what you had.
Very good. Now, you're a businessman as well.
Yes.
And you're very organized, as we can see. I know you had mentioned something about marketing partners' expectations versus what they receive from the sport.
Yes.
What want to expand on that? What exactly you mean by that?
Okay. Well, when I raced, I was already getting very involved with relationships with marketing partners because my best year, I received over $16,000 in cash from sponsors. Plus, I did not buy a single tire and did not pay anything for my engines and maintenance.
I'm definitely doing things wrong then.
Well, but it took a lot to accomplish that, Scott. And I see it myself from the other end. I see it all the time. Okay, people come to you with their hand out. You know, what are you going to give me? And what I've always done, Scott, I always maintain a high level of communication with my marketing partners. I put them in a position where they felt that they were receiving more than they expected. And I hope I actually was giving them more, you know. But we kept our name out there constantly. And, you know, there is one good thing about social media nowadays is that so much of it can be free or extremely low cost. So I made sure all of these marketing partners were always heard and seen one way or the other. And I never missed an opportunity to, you know, get their name out there. And it made a difference. And now, you know, I see it now. I see so many people, you know, saying they want a sponsor, they get a sponsor, and then they never mention the sponsor. It's you know, something you really have to work at. You know, you have to be very
Oak Shade
aggressive.
Raceway, Big D's Pizza, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Dominator Race Products. Want to thank them once again.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Just sorry about that. But yeah, it's just a matter of you want something from them. What are you going to give them? Because you're talking about a business relationship. Now, if you want to talk about a friend sponsoring you, okay, that's a totally different story. But generally speaking, that's not where you're going to make out best. So you need to give somebody what they are looking for in the sport. And, you know, it frustrates me, Scott, because so many people ask me when I did this Beyond Limits thing with S.O.D, I had no problem coming in with marketing partners, even though everybody else, well, I can't say everybody, even though a lot of other people were predicting, doom and gloom, because, we had no rules, basically. Yeah, I mean, we had a spec tire, but, run what you want engine-wise. We don't care. We're not going to check you. Go ahead. Run nitro if you want. But people don't, realize, what we did, but the marketing partners did, and we had very little trouble. The first year we did it, we had like $47,000 in support. The second year we were over 70. The third year we were over 90.
Wow.
And I have no doubt that was the end of my business plan. My plan was to, I was done after 3 years. I have no doubt if I'd have stuck with it, we'd have been 110, 120. Now the world is different. It's a very, difficult situation trying to come up with, marketing partners. Besides all the problems that people are aware of, I don't think they're aware of the fact that the venture capitalists are really causing a problem for racing, because these are people with a lot of money. They're buying up the companies that have been known to build up from their racing involvement. And then, these people, they're not interested in racing. They're interested in making big profits and increasing profits constantly. And it's hurting the sport. And it's not good for us, but I don't know what the alternatives are.
Dwayne Hancock, you familiar with Dwayne?
Oh, I've heard of him now and then.
He's the guy, the founder of the AFCS series,
yes,
among other things.
Yeah.
Says that those who treat marketing partners like a business partner have success and keep gaining more and more each year. And he's also, look at that, he's throwing out Terra State Community College, another sponsor for the Attica Fremont Championship Series.
Yep.
He does a great job with that and promoting
Well, I'm glad to see his involvement, and it astonishes me because I get calls from all over the country, and how did you do it? How did you make it work? And I tell them, well, I'll tell you in 3 words. I'll tell you, it's promote, 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 and they just don't seem to get it. There's a lack of follow up on that. So.
They'll figure it out. When did your association with the Sprint Cars on Dirt series, when did that go away, and what is the current status of Sprint Cars on Dirt? Do you know?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I do know. 2018 was my last year.
Okay.
And previous over the years, like I didn't actively manage S.O.D myself, but we had some great people, Keith and Betty McCall, who have been around racing forever. That doesn't mean they're old, but they've just been around racing a long time. They were great. They were very instrumental.
They're experienced.
Yes, good word. Yes. But 2018 was my last year, and I decided I would sell the series. And the new owner did not follow the very simple but precise strategy I had laid out, and as a result, encountered some problems. I ended up with Sprints once again, and sold it to another group that, unfortunately, they've had quite a few problems. So the exact status, where they're at with it right now, I can't tell you, Scott, but in both cases, it was a matter of not following the strategic business plan, which was simple, and the abandonment of the spec tires. Once that happened, then everything turned into a full-blown, high-dollar 410 circuit.
So, looking at their website, I did kind of look at that. Nothing's really been updated since last year. So
right.
You haven't heard anything?
No. I don't know what their plans are. So.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about your racing career. What are some of the craziest moments you've experienced.
Well, back when we were running with the Moss Series, we were racing all over, and unfortunately, the races were on Wednesday nights. And we had a race in Morgantown, West Virginia, and that's quite a ways away. And one of my crew just happened to be a member of a flying club, Jack Pfeiffer. And we were fortunate because what we were able to do is send two people with the car, the trailer, or the race car, and truck and trailer, and three more or four more people fly. Well, to begin with, I realized before long that I always had to go with the truck and the trailer, because there were a couple of times where the truck and the trailer at the racetrack, and I was waiting for a storm to pass so I could get there. But one time, Kathy and I went down to Skyline Speedway, and we got there early, got lost, and finally found our way to the track, and nobody's there as far as our crew. So we find out there, I don't know exactly where they were, but they had to land because of a storm. So I'm there. I have no crew. Kathy's the only one with me. So eventually it gets to the point where they say there's a chance they're going to be able to fly in. She leaves the track, leaves me with a truck, a trailer, and a car. And the promoter's son became my crewman, crew chief, complete crew. And
voluntarily?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did a very good job, because I think we finished third then that night. My crew actually showed up about a few laps into the feature. So talk about crazy. Yeah. But you could go on and on. Long history, 32 years of the sport. But I had, when I first started out with my crew from Monroe, Michigan, which is where I lived. Jim West, Mike Werstein, Dave Hoffman, and Dwayne DeRocher. And many times they rode in the back of an open bed pickup truck from Monroe to Fremont. And many times they were sitting in maybe 6 inches of water when we got rained out. Then eventually it evolved, and Gary Butler, who is still, my great friend now, was with me forever, and I could always count on him no matter what. And Ken Swirgos provided us with some really great paint jobs back in the days where, it was a craft and not dependent on wraps. And then the Fremont gang stepped in. John Nicholas, Greg Lowe, Mark Hurt, and Kevin Ziske became my team down there. And as I got away from Fremont, then Ron Brown and Tom Valanche from Michigan, became crewmen, along with Gary Butler. Gary was always there.
And you've had a lot of guys helping you out.
Even over the time, yeah, we did, yeah.
What would you consider your biggest win? Is there one that stands out?
Oh yeah, down there, Waycross, Georgia, no doubt, yeah.
On the oil track.
Yes, yeah. Because I had Deuce had been with Doug Wolfgang, and as far as mechanics at that time, even though he had kind of semi-retired, he was one of the best, and I never felt that I deserved somebody like him, but it was very interesting to go to the track and rely totally on someone else and have him just tell me, this is what I've got for you, do this, and I'd say okay, and it worked. So but that was definitely my biggest win. Their championship of their series that year, I just happened to lap him in the feature. So
not bragging or anything.
No, but enjoying it thoroughly.
Awesome. So we appreciate you coming in tonight. What are you up to now? I know we were talking a little bit about your lights that you got going on there.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to mention a couple things. Ron was, I had heard Ron talking before about the Oakshade Hall of Fame.
Oh,
that thought. I think that's a great idea. And just my personal opinion, I think the first person in should be John Green, because in my opinion, John Green laid the foundation for what it is today. John and I certainly had our disagreements, regularly, but nevertheless,
You still there, Ron?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure. The screen on my phone went black. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we can still hear you.
I can't hear.
All right, great. Yeah, I've been listening. You guys are doing fine.
He's talking about your Hall of Fame deal.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of benefits that can come with that. You know,
Sure.
We can start having annual races, and we could pack the stands just with guys signing autographs.
Like John?
Yeah.
John Green.
No. Well, no, that not possible, but
No, I don't think I deserve it.
okay.
But, what I like to say, Scott, is, racing is facing so many challenging problems right now. And, the cost for promoters, racers, fans, everybody's experiencing it. Supply and cost issues for marketing sponsors, all of it. And, the question then becomes, are race purses too low, okay, or too high?
And we've talked a lot about that too.
Yeah. And, I'm not so sure the only answer to that is to pay more money. Let me put it this way. If you quit paying racers anything, the sport wouldn't die.
Yeah, I kind of look at it this way. You have people that race for profit. You have those that race that don't want to lose money and would be happy breaking even.
Right.
And then there's people like me that race just for the fun of it, and I know I'm going to go into debt.
Sure.
I'm not going to make anything.
Sure. And, I like the micro sprints now. I mean, Darren raced them, and I was totally unfamiliar with them until he did. I think the classes are great, Scott. I actually think some of these other tracks should look at maybe, putting them into their programs because the cars rely on, much more on driver skill because they're underpowered to a point, but they're not slow. I mean, at a lot of tracks, they've been faster than the sprint cars on the same track.
The micro sprints.
Yeah. 600 cc.
Motorcycle engines.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I really enjoy watching. I really enjoy watching the races out of North Carolina.
Adding them to their programs. They got to do something about the tires, and I'm just surprised nobody's taken it on. I mean, to me, it's rather a simple problem that at least we can achieve a temporary solution, if not permanent. But nobody, to my knowledge, nobody's doing it. And, maybe there is somebody that's doing it. If they are, they should be out there telling the world they're working on it. Promote.
Yeah,
So,
sponsors definitely would help out with
definitely.
purse issues too.
Yeah. So, you need to find creative ways to support the fans. When we had driver draws, we'd have a kid with each driver, and we give them a little toy of some sort. We gave away an autographed Sprints on Dirt sign at each race to someone. Sometimes it was young children. Sometimes it was older people that I felt deserved it. When I went to the track, I didn't know who it was going to go to, but I looked around, and the people. I mean, we had the one lady that cried, because at Thunderbird Speedway up in Michigan, she's an old-time supporter of the track, I guess, and sat right down on the corner of the stands because she couldn't get anywhere else. And I gave her the sign.
Keep going.
So it was, people appreciated it, and I mean, from our standpoint, we got publicity out of it, and our sponsors got publicity, and that was the name of the game. That's what was needed to keep the spark, lit, and that's all kind of died.
Well, hopefully it gets relit.
Hopefully, yes, yeah. Yep.
neighbor was playing music and had the window
Okay.
open, so I didn't want it to get shut off of Facebook for copyright.
Yeah. So any of this that's going on, I don't see it as insurmountable, Scott. Just temporary setbacks. How long the impact is depends on what people do about it.
Very good. Well, I got some racing news I want to get to, and I want to actually get your opinion on some of this stuff. Have you heard about this motorsports park in Lorain, Ohio, that Chris McCrone's working on?
Yes, I've heard a little bit about it. I don't know too much about it.
Couple go-kart tracks, and then long-term plans to put a 3/8 mile dirt oval on there with the hopes of getting All-Stars, maybe World of Outlaw sprint cars there. And we had Chris on January, I think it was, talking about this, and it was still in the plans.
Yep.
And last week, Ron, you tasked me to get an update.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Chris. They
and
they just finalized the engineering and are wrapping up the submittal process for their permits. So nothing has actually happened on the ground yet, but as soon as they get approval on those permits, which he should know more about in 3 or 4 weeks, then they're going to be able to break ground. So that's your update.
When we talked to Chris, it seemed like he had gotten a lot of the area council people on his side. So
yeah, I think they still
I'm
are.
hoping that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Yeah, I think they're still they're still moving forward and everything. They're just a little bit behind their initial schedule, but you got all that bureaucracy stuff that you can't really anticipate, and so he'll reach out when there's another update there.
Good.
All right.
I think that's a wise move. Like you said, he's got a couple go-kart tracks, whatever. That opens the door to run micros also. I mean, you look at somebody like, Shane Stewart has taken over Port City Racing down south, and micros is what it's all about. They don't race anything but micros as their primary classes week to week.
It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
All around. So. The Mussey Racing Sprint Series has been added to the August racing schedule at North Wilkesboro Speedway. The Mussey Racing Sprinters are scheduled to join the CRA late models on Friday and Saturday, August 12th and 13th during the racetrack revival at the .625 mile track that's been dormant since 2011. Then they're going to tear up that asphalt and run some dirt races in October, I think it is, and then before resurfacing it with the hopes of trying to get an ARCA race or even a NASCAR truck race there.
Really? Oh, okay.
So
it's interesting. Moving
forward with that whole plan down there in North Wilkesboro. I know John Young, one of our correspondents, is a big supporter of that. Due to the continuing tire shortage, which we spoke about here, it's still affecting things.
Sure.
Ron, maybe you need to head to Black Hills Speedway because
Really?
Black Hills Speedway and Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series have canceled the national tour event slated for tomorrow and Saturday at the South Dakota Oval. So I don't know if you'd make it there in time, but...
Scott, in talking with the folks at Towel City, they're really concerned.
I don't like that.
About racing is facing some real issues about mid-season. And it kind of goes back to what John was talking about with the tire rules and making things make a little more economic sense rather than just throwing whatever you want tire-wise at it. Things are going to have to straighten around or we're not going to have tires to put on the cars.
Yeah, well, the quote from who's this quote from? Oh, the ASCS owner, Terry Maddox. Yeah. He says, when we were told Hoosier canceled when we were told we couldn't get tires to Black Hills, we started trying to find some to take with us to at least have something, but there just isn't any. Without the ability to fulfill a full order, the distributors can't part with that much inventory at one time with what's going on, unquote. And I know even talking to Dan Dippin about tires, he's kind of having to limit how many he can sell to each person just because.
I think you're talking about Craig, but
Craig,
okay.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to get smacked for that one.
And that's happening. I know we heard, Ron, when I saw you down there at Fremont, I heard people complaining because there are only so many tires available, not enough for everybody to get one. So who gets it and who doesn't? And I know up at Butler there was a shortage of tires available, and I know for this coming weekend in Michigan there is going to be a tire shortage problem, most likely. It's hard to believe that there won't be. But once again, I fall back on, my idea here, for sprint cars anyway. If you only have to make one left rear tire for everybody, you can make 1,000 of those. If you have to make 12 different ones, you can't make 1,000 of each of them. Can you even make 100 of each of them? Probably not. So right there, you're feeding the problem, and I'm just so frustrated because nobody's, no.
So the issue then would be to get everybody to agree to a common tire.
It would be, like we tried it, we proved it. We've even got, those tires, they were proven to be very successful. And I mean, it worked. So it's not like you have to start from scratch, because Hoosier, worked with us on the deal. So it worked out great. I'm
just saying you got all the different series, and they have all their different tire rules, and it's just getting all of them to come together. Didn't Tony Stewart or somebody have some kind of sprint car group that were trying to bring things together for?
Well, it's pretty much dominated by the top group in the sport,
the World of Outlaws.
Yeah, we know them, and they're just part of the bigger picture. But if somebody has to step up and say this is the way it's going to be, perhaps it needs to be Hoosier.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah. Because this is
the tire we're going to make.
Yes,
you can feel free to use it or not.
Yeah. Now people don't go bad mouthing Hoosier if they make that move, because they're doing it for the good of the sport. The only problem I see is the Hoosier tire we deal with nowadays is not owned by the people that owned the original Hoosier tire. And
it's an ongoing problem.
Yeah. So, but it's like I said, they could work on it. They could solve it, but who knows?
We mentioned earlier John Henrik Nemechek winning the NASCAR Truck Series race at Darlington Friday night, and this happened to him while he was doing his interview for TV right there on the front stretch.
That puts their heart and soul.
Yeah, can thrown at him from the stand.
Great.
That sounded like a full can. Here, catch it just in case you missed it the first time. And if you're listening to us on the podcast on iHeartRadio or Google Podcasts or iTunes, listen for the pop.
That puts their heart and soul.
Almost sounds like a gunshot.
Yes, it does. Yeah, and I agree. It sounds like a full can.
Yeah, well, and this is what John had to say about it in the media center. He was asked about it, and actually he was asked if he'd ever had a can thrown at him, and he said, yeah, I don't know what that was about. That thing was full, too. I'm glad somebody didn't hit me in the head with that thing. I thought a tire exploded, unquote.
Yeah.
So fans are becoming crazy. That happened at the Walleye game Saturday night. It was a cup that was thrown at one of the opposing players, and there was a little scuffle after the game Saturday night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are fans getting out of control?
It seems like
what's going on with the world?
Now we're looking at a bigger picture, Scott, not just racing. Like you said with walleye, but you name it, anywhere.
They had the Malice at the Palace about 5-10 years ago, where the players went out into the crowd of a basketball game and were in a physical altercation.
I don't know. People just can't seem to use their head.
Oh, my goodness, it's crazy. Final news thing here. Dylan Hill, promoter at Cardinal Motor Speedway in Eunice, New Mexico, was struck by a sport mod that was helping to pack the track this past weekend. The cars were to run in single file as directed on the receiver, but one driver decided to gun it on the outside of the other cars and struck Mr. Hill. Ashton Hill, Dylan's wife, ran down to the track from the scoring tower and found her husband unconscious and not breathing Ashton had worked as an EMT for the local fire department, and she went to work, got him on a backboard, and called for him to be airlifted. Dylan suffered from a dislocated left shoulder with a dented socket ball bone and a shattered shoulder bone. He had multiple fractures of his vertebrae, a concussion, a puncture wound in his shin, and soft tissue and muscle damage in his calves. And he also broke his ankle.
Wow.
Left ankle.
So he'll be back at the races this week?
He will have to undergo months of recovery and is in a wheelchair and bedridden, bound to a wheelchair. So.
Well, Ron, you probably remember a few years ago at a paved track in Michigan, an official being hit and killed. He was one of the officials that had worked for us for quite a while. It's a shame. Yeah, in the same situation, people need to be, we have a lot of problem with spectators walking through the pits and thinking they own the middle of the pit road. But we also have drivers that need to realize, they need to be in control and pay attention.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is maybe he didn't have his receiver in. If they were just packing the track, maybe he figured he didn't need it. That's why. I know at least at Oakshade, I can speak from experience. They say, we need help packing the track in. You have to have your receiver and your helmet, everything on,
Right.
Otherwise, don't get on the track. So.
Yeah.
This is really nothing new, though, Scott, because I remember Jim McCune Sr., the original Racing McCune, and he won a lot of races at Fremont Speedway, and he knew that the fans were really getting PO'd with him winning when they were throwing full cans of beer.
Wow.
True story.
Well,
True story.
Knowing Jim, I thought he would appreciate that.
He was thirsty. Didn't they have?
Well, it's nothing new.
Right.
Yeah, didn't I guess going way back? Didn't that happen to Jeff Gordon winning at Talladega one year or something? Maybe it wasn't him. I just remember there was all kinds of.
Showered with something,
all over the track after. Anyways, that's all the news I got for this week. We're going to play How Many? A chance to win a Big D's pizza. And last week's winner was how many total goals were going to be scored in the Toledo Walleye Wheeling Nailers hockey game Saturday night, because everything got rained out. So we decided to go with hockey last weekend. And Ron, guess what?
What?
You won.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
Yeah, I think I picked 5 and you picked 6, and the actual number total goals was 7.
So I've got to go first this week?
Yeah, but we'll get to that. We did have a...
Okay, 14.
You don't even know what it is. We had a tie for our listeners here. A couple of people that win entirely too much, as a matter of fact, but they won fair and square, so we're going to put their name on the Big D's pizza wheel.
Matt again?
Yeah. Well, you see, yes, he's one of them. Here we go. Let's share the screen. Boom. Now they can see it. All right. So we got Matt Swander, John Young. They both picked 7. They were right on the dot, so we had a tie there. We're going to spin the Big D's pizza wheel, find out who's going to win that Big D's pizza. They'll have 30 days to claim their prize. Here we go. It's going to be close. It's going to be John Young.
All right.
He never wins Big D's. At least he appreciates it. He gets out
there.
Well,
and he shares. If he goes over to get one, he always brings one back.
Yeah, so he better bring some back for me this time.
Congratulations, John.
There you go. 30 days to claim that. And this week's How Many, we're going to go back to the initial How Many from last weekend. We got the Oakshade Attica Late Model Challenge Series at Oakshade this Saturday night. How many late models are we going to have at Oakshade Saturday night, Ron? And yes. No, I'm not even going to say anything. Just how many, Ron?
28.
All
right. What do you think, John? We'll put you on this one.
Okay, boy, that's a tough one. Ron's got a good number there.
Yeah, but, it is.
Let me say 30.
30, all right.
I'll be optimistic.
Man, you put me in a box here. I'm going to go with 29. Go right in the middle. So I gotta be right on if I get it. So if you'd like a chance to win a Big D's Pizza, you can go ahead and put your guess in the comments of our Facebook Live or our YouTube Live. Just put a number in there. And
if somebody picks the bad number, are you going to black flag them?
If they pick, well, what would be the bad number? You can only guess once. If you guess more than once, you will get the black flag. Did I see Dean Taylor? Oh, that was Dean Henry. I thought I saw two Deans and thought Dean. I was going to get to black flag Big D's Pizza himself, but it was the wrong Dean. My bad.
Oh.
So one guess, and we'll give you until 2 p.m. on Saturday to get in on this. So if you're not listening to us live, you're listening to us on the podcast. If it's before 2 o'clock on Saturday, go ahead and find our Facebook Live or our YouTube Live and just put your guess in the comments. As long as before 2 o'clock, you will be eligible to win that Big D's Pizza. And I was bad. I forgot to send the schedule over to Ryan Weekman for our our weekend weather pit stop this morning until it was too late. So I'm going to have to do the weekend weather pit stop for him. A lot of racing going on.
So I can tell you just north of Columbus, it's beautiful. It's sunny.
It's sunny here, although I had to close my window because of the damn neighbors are playing music too loud. So, yeah, but
it's warm here, Ron.
Yeah, it's Friday night.
It's warm here.
Friday night, no problems here. It's going to be warm tomorrow. I'm going to do the forecast along with the schedule of races this weekend. Limaland, Attica, it's going to be hot. It's going to be nice. The racing's going to be going on, no problems there. Limaland Motorsports.
Dry and dusty?
I don't know about dusty, but it'll be dry. Second annual Mike Stryker Memorial featuring UMP Modifieds, Thunder Stocks, USAC D2 Thunder Midgets, and the Dirt Track Truck Series. Gates open at 5, racing 7:30. General admission for adults is $12. Attica Raceway Park, it's the Eric Phillips 34th Anniversary Classic. Attica Fremont Championship Series 410 Sprints, the Attica Oakshade Late Model Series, and Attica Fremont Championship Series 305 Sprints. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:45, and general admission there for adults is $18. Now, Saturday night, you got Flat Rock Speedway with Jack's Bicycle Autograph Day and Scout Day. Scouts will be admitted free. Late models, figure 8, street stocks, gates open at 1:30. You can walk and meet the drivers at 3 o'clock, and then racing will begin at 4 p.m. Don't forget Flat Rock Speedway on that early schedule through the month of May until June. Then they'll kick back to the regular 7 o'clock start time. So this Saturday, starting at 4 o'clock, at Flat Rock Oakshade. Of course, it's the Oakshade Attica Late Model Challenge Series as well. Second night of that. Sportsman, Dominator, Superstocks, Compacts in action. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission for adults, $14 out there at the Shade. Fremont, it's all pro cylinder heads night, featuring the AFCS 410 Sprints, 305 Sprints, trucks. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. $15 for adult general admission there. Sandusky Speedway. The Pure Stocks, otherwise known as the North Coast Stock Series, or I think that's what they're transitioning it to. Renegades, Beginner Stocks, all in action. They're going to have 2 features for the Pure Stocks and Renegades. So $7 general admission will get you in to see 5 feature events, because there'll be 2 of the North Coast Stock Series and 2 for the Renegades. Full payouts for each of those. From what I remember seeing from Chris Mize, staff is not going to get paid. They're working for free that night so that they can do that. I don't think that's true, but I think that's what he's saying. They know that? They got sponsors helping out with all that too. So I don't know. But cool deal there. $7 for all that racing. Gates open at 4, racing at 7 o'clock at Sandusky. And then Montpelier Motor Speedway, a salute to mom, which I thought was odd because Mother's Day was last weekend, but that's fine.
But it didn't happen last weekend.
No, that's true. UMP Modified, Super Stock, Street Stocks, Hornets, gates open at 3, racing at 7:22. General admission, $12 there at Montpelier Motor Speedway. And slight chance of some shower. 60% chance, I think I saw. But it looked like it was very spotty, hit or miss. Those showers developing Saturday evening. And also going to be hot on Saturday as well. It's like summer all of a sudden. It's like we went from winter to summer. We just skipped spring. Yep. So keep an eye on your WTOL 11 weather app on Saturday for that. But I think we'll be good to go for most of it. Like I said, the rain's not moving in until the evening, and even when it does, it's not full coverage. It's going to be spotty. Saturday, Toledo Speedway kicks off their season with the school bus figure eight with Kenny Schrader driving one of those. Kenny Schrader actually driving in the street stocks and late models at Flat Rock on Saturday night as well. Forgot about that. Late models.
Now, what day did you say Toledo was?
Toledo's Sunday. I have Saturday written, but I have May 15th. Thank you. Sunday is Toledo Speedways. They're kicking off with that school bus figure eight. Flat Rock is Saturday. So Kenny Schrader will be there. Flat Rock Saturday. Toledo Speedway Sunday afternoon. Late model sportsman factory stock boat figure eight. Gates open 11:30. Racing at 2 p.m. General admission for adults $21 there at Toledo Speedway for that. And then Waynesfield Raceway Park, they rescheduled Tezos All-Star Circuit of Champions 410 Wing Sprint Show. They're also going to have UMP Modifieds, USAC, Midwest Thunder Midgets. Pit gates open at 1:30. Regular gates at 3:30, and racing starts at 6:30 at Waynesfield. General admission for adults $24 there. Waynesfield on Sunday evening, and chance of rain is on a little bit better on Sunday, so definitely keep an eye on social media and the weather radar for the action on Sunday. Other than that, though, the temperature is going to be beautiful Sunday if the rain stays away.
Welcome to summer.
Well, and it's not yet. Other series action, the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars will be at Williams Grove Friday and Saturday. That's tomorrow and Saturday. Bridgeport Motorsports Park on Tuesday, the 17th of May. The All-Star Circuit of Champions, mentioned they're going to be at Waynesfield. They're going to be kind of in this area all weekend long. Tomorrow night, they're going to be up at I-96 in Michigan, Wayne County Speedway over in Orrville, Ohio on Saturday. And then Waynesfield will be wrapping up that 3-day trek there on Sunday, and hopefully they get all that in. The NTT IndyCar Series back in action with the GMR Grand Prix on the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's going to be on Saturday at 3 o'clock on NBC. The ARCA Menard Series back in action with Dutch Boy 150 at Kansas Speedway on Saturday. That'll be at 2 p.m. on FS1. The NASCAR Cup Series will be at Kansas Speedway as well. That'll be Sunday, 3 o'clock on FS1. And the Truck Series also in action this weekend with the Heart of America 200, also at Kansas Speedway. That's tomorrow night, 8 p.m., all on FS1. Xfinity Series has the weekend off. So
a lot of racing.
A lot of racing scheduled for this past weekend, and hopefully Mother Nature...
And, yeah, we just got to make sure Ryan Weekman doesn't mess with it at all.
Yeah, definitely. No calls this week on the Hammer Down hotline. Actually, I didn't check it, but I'm pretty sure there was no calls. If you want to call and leave a message, I'm going to have to remove this thing so people can see that number. There we go. 419-318-3081. That's 419-318-3081. Feel free to call, leave us a message. You can also text it, too. Text us a message. And anything about racing, anything John talked about tonight, if you got an opinion on that, feel free to share it. We'll play it back or read it back on the show next week. Again, that's 419-318-3081. And
Scott, I've been kind of out of the loop. Where do we stand with the walleye?
That is a good question. I did see my brother said that they scored. So as far as I know, it's 1-0. He's actually downstairs watching it in my living room.
Oh, okay.
So guess where I'm going in a couple minutes.
Downstairs to the living room.
There you go. Next week, we'll be back live 7 o'clock Thursday night. I'm not sure who we're going to have on because I figure we'll pick a winner from this weekend from some of the area tracks and
all right,
have them on the show. So I didn't book anybody for next week, kind of keeping that open. Make sure to like us.
John Bailey put his hand up. He said if we ever need somebody, he would love to be on.
John Bailey from Palmyra?
Yeah. Sir.
We talked to him for a
couple years ago, maybe.
Yeah. I'm getting some messages here. It's 3-0. So this is game 4 tonight. Walleye could close out that series. So go on.
Yeah, but you don't want that to happen, do you?
No, I do, because then they get some time to rest before the next series, and the beard will continue to
Oh,
grow.
okay.
This is the playoff beard.
Okay.
I can continue to look homeless for another week or two. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report, follow us on YouTube, listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Check us out at HammerdownRacingReport.com. All our shows are on there. Add information if you want to be a sponsor. Everything you need, it's on there. Make sure to rate and review us, share us with your friends. And once again, support our sponsors. They need to get the bang for their buck out of
That's right.
Without them, we don't do this.
Yep.
Oakshade Raceway, Big D's Pizza, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Dominator Race Products. Because originally when we did this, there was no cost to us because I was working at iHeart and we got to use studios for free. Now we built our own studio. The streaming stuff costs money, so these guys pay for us to talk Babylon endlessly every Thursday night, pretty much.
Yes.
Right, Ron?
Yeah, this is great fun.
All right, Ron, we're out. We'll see you next week. John, thanks again for coming in. We appreciate it. It was
Thank you.
definitely fun. And
I enjoyed being here, and you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
all right, man. Appreciate it. See you next week.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.